We're good.
So in 3, 2, so 3.
Good afternoon, we're here with Ian Dickson. He is the designer behind the TTC pilot project. It is the Wayfinding Project. So he designed all the signs that you may have seen on your way down to downtown at Yonge and Bloor Station. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you. I should actually correct, I'm a member of the design team. I didn't design everything.
Oh, okay.
I'm the project lead on the project, and we have an entire team designing everything. It's a big job, so it's not a one-person thing.
So tell us about the entire project, about the Wayfinding Project.
Well, it's a big project. We started about 2 years ago, and our challenge was to develop a consistent standard for all signage across TTC facilities across the city. So we've been working on this, and I guess our standard was evolved to a completed standard just before Christmas. We made the decision to roll out the system across the standards across the system, and our first step was to install it at 2 key stations, Bloor-Yonge Station, and in the weeks to come we'll have St. George Station.
And why do you think that was necessary for the TTC to do?
In terms of developing a consistent standard, well, the TTC was opened in 1954 with the first subway line on Yonge Street, and over the years it has expanded and grown, and we have old and new, and so as a result we have old signs and new signs, and we have a bit of a hodgepodge of different standards. So the decision was to bring some consistency that would make the system easier to use and more accessible to all our customers. And that was the major top-line goal of the project. Okay,
talking about accessibility, if our viewers haven't seen the signs yet, tell us about the numbers and the names of the lines.
So one of the biggest changes that people will notice is that we've adopted an additional piece of information on our existing subway line names, and that's a number. So the number 1 Yonge line, the number 2 Bloor-Danforth line. So this creates an element that's very easy for people to understand, especially people with where English is not their first language, or people who are not familiar with the city. People like you and I who are travelers. Yonge University Spadina line, get off at St. Clair West Station is a lot to swallow. So if we were to say, go to St. Clair West Station on the number 1 line, it's easier. And it's also, it follows an international best practice that we've already seen. And many people compare this to what's been done in Paris, Tokyo, New York City.
So about New York, I read an article online about the use of the famous Helvetica font on all their signage. Was there something similar in what you guys were trying to do when you were designing the TTC signs?
With one of these expansions over the past 30, 40 years has been to expand in the Shepherd line. At that time we started using a version of a Swiss typeface called 721. Swiss 721 was later evolved into a font called Helvetica for and was mass marketed around the world, but Swiss 721 preceded that. We use that font, that's our standard. We're just, it's a very good typeface for signs, and we will continue to use that going forward in the standard.
Thanks so much for coming in, Ian. You'll be able to see the signs at Yonge and Bloor Station. They'll be coming in, this is just a pilot project, St. George in the next few weeks, and hopefully the rest of the stations throughout the year. Thanks for joining us.